watching defensive plays like that, mic'd up, Manti, gets you juice. It's like you want to just give your take about it.
Man, it's so nice to see Jalen and his progression. I was with Jalen when I was in Chicago in 2020. It was the second year in the NFL out of the University of Utah. To see that progress, to see his leadership step up. But I'm really excited about that Bears defense. My favorite guy really is Spider-Man. They call him Spider-Man. Kyler Gordon, he's their nickel corner. He gives them that luxury to stay in sub defense against base defense looks. He's that guy that's coming off the edge. But when I watch this Bears defense and I watch their versatility, I watch how smart they are in football, their ability to disguise coverages. They want to stay in that two shell all day long. But you have guys like Kevin Byard back there that comes down, shows man, and then he just retreats back like a Troy Polamalu back in the Steeler days to go play deep half. So I really like this Bears defense. They like to get the ball. They take the ball away. And I'm glad I had him on my fantasy football team because I had like 20-plus points on that board.
What really matters?
It's good.
Somebody won.
It's good. It's funny. Like, you watch that game and you see it was 17-0. They come back, they win. And it's like, all right, Caleb got the win. On to the next one. It was at 1 o'clock. There's 9 other games. That Bears defense and special teams single-handedly won that game for the Bears. And if they didn't win that game, they'd be 0-1 heading into Houston. And you're like, oh, gosh, what a disastrous start this could be. I need to see more out of Caleb. I'm sorry. That was disastrous week 1, as bad as it could be if you're talking about coming off of Hard Knocks and all the hype and all the I'm not trying to be an alarmist here, but you can't rely on defense and special teams. This isn't the 2000 Ravens. Caleb needs to be better. We can't rely on punt returns and punt blocks and whatever else we got and interceptions every single time. So defense was great. Jalen Johnson's fantastic. I love Tyreek Stevenson. And you mentioned Gordon. Really good defense for the Bears. But that can't be the way they're going to make the playoffs this year. Caleb has to be better than what he was.
1-0, no turnovers, no interceptions, no fumbles. Listen, you get one of those, I think. And Jalen Johnson even comes over. Jalen Johnson with DJ Moore are probably the best players on the team, but by far from the most important players on the team. He comes over and says, we got you, 18. And they did. They got him for 1. We can't carry you like this. That's fine. It was your warm-up game. You got a lot of expectations, home field. Okay, who cares? You didn't turn the ball over and we won. We're going on prime time against the guy against which you are going to be compared. They're already being compared. All anybody says about Caleb is, well, CJ Stroud did it. He did it. You go out on Sunday night, you got to at least throw the ball downfield a little bit, and he knows that. I think it's very comfortable for people to have the Bears quarterback not be good. I think people like it, just like they like the Jets losing. The Bears don't have a quarterback. Show some people and make them a little uncomfortable. I don't need 400 yards. I would like 100, though. That would be good. Just do something, Caleb. We got you.
Yeah, you were talking about Jalen Johnson, Manti, and, we saw that video, and then Spider-Man. They're going to have their hands full. I mean, this offense is loaded with the Houston Texans. I think we saw what Dell can do, and we see what Collins and obviously Stephon Diggs. But the interesting thing, too, is what Joe Mixon brings to this offense. I mean, the way they utilize them. You're talking about them staying up in that that high two-shell. That's going to be very interesting to see how they game plan. They're going to have to bring a lot of different looks to stop the Houston Texans. But Joe Mixon changes the game and how the Chicago Bears are going to have to play them.
Mm-hmm. I think what stood out to me, too, is just listening to Jalen and hearing him talk. And I love the fact that we can hear the players mic'd up, is the confidence, too, that it is exuding through this defense. That if you think about Bears football over the last couple years, it didn't have the same sort of energy. And confidence is, I guess, the best word that I can really think of. So to see that really exude and turn into points, I think could be something in Chicago.
Well, speaking of personality coming out, Matt Eberflus coming over and talking to Jalen Johnson in that clip, I think the more we get to know the head coach of the Bears, the more likable he becomes. But the storyline has to progress in order for Matt Eberflus to fulfill, I think, the expectation of the Bears. I cannot believe that in week 2 on Sunday Night Football, we get this basis of comparison between a C.J. Stroud and a Caleb Williams. Peter, to your point, you can run and hide in the 1 o'clock window when there's 9 or 10 games going on. But if I'm Caleb Williams, I'm very focused on the fact that there is no other excuses when it comes to, hey, this is what C.J. Stroud did in his whole first season. Now, Caleb Williams, you got to go out and play like that.
You know what, Jamie? It's a great point, and I think Shane Waldron can do Caleb a favor here. Maybe get a little flea flicker and a deep pass. Maybe have some trick play. Get something going early so we can get off the schneid. But Tirico and Collinsworth and Melissa Stark will be there no matter what, and let's hope that Caleb is too.
Absolutely.